episode of 305 Vox Populi here in the town of Miami Lakes. I'm Mayor Manny Cid, and we have an amazing guest today. We have WNBA superstar Erica Wheeler. How you doing, Erica?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be in the presence of you, man. Love what you're doing for our community, so I'm just happy to be here and talk with you.
No, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on. Let me thank some of our sponsors. We're powered by Miami Lakes AutoMall. Thank you to Fred Senra. Fred's a great friend. They're located at 16600 Northwest 57th Avenue here in the town of Miami Lakes. His phone number is 305-455-3510. Erica, what do you think about this mural?
No, this is nice, man.
Yeah?
That's some dope art right here.
That is awesome. So Grisel Cajano, a local artist, she did this, which she is amazing. 786-353-8608. You can reach her there. And the Matter Lakes Broadcasting. These folks are amazing. This is a live classroom, which makes it pretty cool because we have guests like you who inspire these young folks, and then they work on editing, directing, all the questions, everything is because of them. Yeah. So it makes it really cool. So we always love to break the ice with this. What's your why? Why basketball? Why, that grind to get to where you're at? If you could jump into that, because we feel that that's probably the most important question is, what's your why?
If I had to say what's my why, I'll say this first. Basketball saved my life. That's one. Just being able to get away from the environment that I grew up in. Because I grew up in poverty, where I didn't have much. It's kind of what you see is what you get. Anything can happen at any given time. And I just think as my career, as I'm at to this point now, and you asked me this question today, it's more so to give back to the youth. For me, I'm about the kids. I know what it was like to grow up and not really have a real role model besides my mom, who just doing the best that she can. So for me, I think it's important that as from being from Miami, to be able to come out of the circumstances that I was in, where I could have been anything but the right thing. So I feel like it's my duty to come back to Miami and give the youth, whether it's a girl or a boy, the opportunity to say, hey, she did it so I can do it too. Not because of the circumstances that I'm in, or not that I'm getting so many opportunities to be where I want to be. I just think that they need to see it in the flesh. And I'm the flesh. Like, I don't mind being an example of a young kid's dream every day.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think I touched upon it a little bit earlier. My niece wants to be just like you. And talking about that, I mean, she's gone to your camps and all that. So I really appreciate you doing that because you're a great example to her. She always compares herself. She does her moves. She's like, what do you think? So it's pretty cool. So your journey to the WNBA, the grind, the grit that it took to get there. What's that message to those kids? Because a lot of kids think that it's easy. They see you now, WNBA, All-Star MVP, right? Incredible plays, incredible moves that have gone viral. We'll touch upon that in a little bit. But that grind to get there, I mean, it wasn't easy. And I think that's an important message for our youth.
Man, you got to love it. That's the one thing I tell any basketball player. That's for anything. If you don't love what you do, you're not going to be the best at it. Because if you're doing it for money, money runs out. Not everybody's willing to pay you what you're worth. Like, you almost got to put yourself in a position where people don't have a choice. And I think I done grind so hard from making $200 a week to making six figures in 7 years, to the point like now certain people can't even tell me no. Like, you have to do what I'm worth. You know what I mean? So for me, to any kid, just to never give up. Like, I have so many doors closed in my face. Like, I can't say the name, but I had someone that's very, like, high level, that's a GOAT, tell me, like, I can't really get you a job overseas because they're only looking for WNBA players at the time. I'm fresh out of college. And, go and work a McDonald's job or something like that. And I'm like, okay. And this is a person that's very respected, so I'm just like, maybe she's right because she knows the market. I don't know the market. So, for me, it's more so when a door closes in your face, like, find a way to kick down another door. Because you tell me no today, in 2 weeks, you're going to be telling me yeah, and then you're going to be begging me even more because you need my service more than I need you. Because I done put myself in a position, I done worked hard enough, I done grind enough, I done gained your respect. Now you coming back to me knocking on that same door that you closed in my face. So, like, that's how I kind of just look at things. And I think that for these kids, you're going to have people tell you no. You're going to have people tell you not good enough. You're going to have people tell you you're not able to do what you want to do, whether that's become a rapper, a basketball player, a teacher, an artist, whatever it is that you want to do, people are going to tell you no because that's people's own perception. You grind through that, you fight through that, you keep moving through that. Nobody will be able to tell you anything because if you ask my best friend Danny, when I got cut, I'm like, man, it's over. Like, when I got cut from the WNBA, it's over with. And I'm sitting there crying. I'm like, bro, what I'm going to do next? Me and him like, what we going to do next? So it's like, to switch your mindset when somebody tell you no, to just like find it within yourself and just tunnel focus and do whatever it is that you want to do. And I think that's what I'm really good at. Like when somebody tell me no, I take it personal. Like you gonna tell me yeah at some point.
No, I feel it. And I shared the story at the last podcast. When I was in aid in the Florida legislature, I told some folks, some very powerful elected officials, same way I won't mention their name.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I want to one day run for office. I want to be mayor one day. They were like, nah, it's not possible. You're from Hialeah. The way you speak, the way you act, that's not going to play. And I was like, for me, it was gas in the tank. But you're absolutely right. You can't settle. You got to keep moving forward. But it does hurt, when you have other folks that tell you that. But that moment, that culmination, when you got that phone call that you're an all-star, then on top of that, I heard the interview where you were like, I'm just happy to be here. This is amazing. If I play 10 minutes, it's all good. But to win the MVP and having those emotions and seeing the other players, how they reacted to that, I was like, whoa, that was so powerful. So, from your, obviously, that your perspective, I mean, how did that feel? How did that all come together?
I mean, the phone call, I thought it was a joke because, like, weeks before then, Danny and my brother was, like, finding stats. Was like, yo, E, you might make All-Star. And I'm just like, man, whatever. So they, like, gassing up as the weeks was going on. And I'm like, whatever. We just need to win games because I'm in Indiana at the time. We only won 5 games. I think our record was like 5 and like 10. I'm like, yo, I just want to win a game. So when I got the call, and it's Bethany from the WNBA office, and I'm thinking it's my brother, and Danny has a girl calling me saying I made All-Star. I'm like, yo, stop playing. It's like, no, this is Bethany from the office. I'm like, yo, tell my brother and Danny stop playing. Like, I'm cursing on the phone and everything. Like, yo, bye. He was like, no, Erica, this is Bethany from the office. She gave me like a rundown of certain things, and I'm just like, yo, for real? And I'm like, you serious? Like, all right, this ain't no joke. And she was just like, no, I'm serious. We'll send you over all the details in your email, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, I paused for a second, and my first phone call was to Danny. And I'm like, he's in Orlando at a tournament. And I'm like, bro, walk outside. I don't care. I don't care if you coaching right now. Walk outside because I don't believe this shit happened to me. So he walked outside. He was like, what happened? He thinks something wrong. And I'm like, bro, I made All-Star. He was like, he started crying too. So it's making me cry a little bit because, like, the fact that, like, he feels what I feel.
No, that love that you got for Danny, that's real. I mean, you right off the bat,
guy, man.
Right off the bat, you talked about that.
Now let me give me some.
No. Listen, I feel you when just watching that video. I mean, and seeing the reaction, not only your reaction, but how that impacted the other players that were there with you.
Yeah,
that was amazing. And just hearing now the support system that you have is real. And one of the first things you said when you came on, this is not me by myself.
Yeah, like
this is my man Danny. This is my squad. And we're gonna get to that in a second. But I appreciate you being so real and having those emotions, because it's okay to bring that entire thing full circle and show kids, hey, when you work hard, when you bring everything full circle, you let those emotions out and everybody sees how real you are. So the realness that you're showing everybody else right now is incredibly powerful. And I thank you for that, because we need more of that in our society. Man. More folks, real people like you. So thank you.
Nah, man, I don't tell him enough because you know how it is. You don't ever want him to stop. So I try not to tell him as much as I appreciate him, but like he knows. But I don't really talk about that moment because it's like, for me, it's like, in my mind, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But when it actually happened, it's just like, damn, like, I don't work this hard really getting what I'm supposed to get. So to share that moment with him first, before even calling my sisters, my agent, I'm calling him first. Like, and it's a long line of people that supposed to come before him, but like he's the first person I thought of because like in all my tough moments where I could have cracked, crazy thing, he's always there. When I was at the phone call and got cut, he was right next to me, helping me like, yo, nah, we ain't stopping right here. Like we gonna figure something out. We gonna get in the gym. We gonna work, and like he always just pushing me to a whole nother level. Furthermore, sometimes I don't want to hear the shit, but you don't want yes people around you. Like he's gonna tell me what it is that I need to hear. So yeah, I don't think I ever told you that, my boy. You know what I mean? We cry on camera, but nah, man, it's very important just to have people like that around you that's gonna push you, because they do get hard. Like if I can tell you how many times I wanted to just quit and just be like, yo, this not for me, you won't even believe me. But like that's the beauty of it, because like if you can't, when you doing something, if it don't break you, if it don't like make you cry, if you don't feel it in a way like you really want it, you ain't gonna ever really keep it. You got people that just get super comfortable. We don't get comfortable over here. We always working towards something. When we get comfortable, we like, yo, we gotta do something. Like we need to do something. Like we was in storage yesterday. We didn't even need to be in storage. We just doing stuff. We just sit, because it's just like, why are we wasting time? Like let's just go do something. We had no reason to be in storage. We got box cuts all through our hands. We had no reason. But it's just like we don't like to just sit and not just wait around for things to happen.
No, you're absolutely right. Never settle and always keep moving forward. And I think a powerful message: surround yourself with folks that are going to tell you the truth. Yeah. So that is really, really powerful. A couple podcasts ago, we had Yuli the Monster Diaz on, and he was a gentleman who was in prison many times, and then later on in his life, in late 30s, he decided to start fighting, and it changed his life. I mean, his life now is completely different. So he had a moment when he had fought, he was undefeated, but then he went into the ring and he had the fastest knockout in combat sports history. He knocked out his opponent in 3 seconds. Changed his life. Changed really the way that he fought going forward. It went viral. Mm-hmm. You had a similar moment recently where I think you had 2 crossovers. One of them on Sue Bird that really went viral, and you knocked it down, which was unbelievable. But talk to us about that moment going forward. How has that changed, or has that have going viral? Because I think LeBron tweeted it, and you had everybody get involved. How did that feel in terms of that change and shift? Because everybody around the world kind of saw that.
I mean, it feels great for people to acknowledge it. Like when it's you know what's in. Like I do that move all the time. People just never fall, and for me, it's more so like. Yeah, now y'all know. Yeah, now y'all know. So now the great thing about it was I was getting love from more WNBA players than anything. So for people to, reach out and just acknowledge it, and then for people around the world to just be watching the women's game, you know how it's been for the women. So for people to show so much love to the women's game, I mean, that was more honor than anything. But it so happened it to be Sue. I think that's more iconic for me. Just like, this is a legend. This is a GOAT. This is like idols that I looked up to, and I dropped one of my idols. Like that's legendary for me. Like so, for me, it's just like, yeah, that's something I ain't gonna ever forget, ever.
No, that's really, really amazing. And before we're gonna bring Danny on right now in a second, but before we get there, Lou, you got one question? I know the staff and the kids hold one question. Is there anything you wanted to jump in there with?
So my question actually is true to my heart. As he told you off camera, I work with the Globetrotters, and we make a huge initiative to at least have one female player on each team that we take out the tour. I think you are aware of that. And it always gets a huge ovation, even in the starting lineup. Just it's a girl, it's a female out here, right? And then they see the play, and it's like wow, And in the basketball community, we always say that there isn't much of a difference. It's just the overall public sees it as a difference. Yeah. So my question to you, and it's a loaded question. My question to you is, who needs to do better to get the women's game out there? Is it the media? Is it the player themselves? Like, who do you think needs to bring up the game so we can showcase the game?
I don't think it's one person. I think it's a community. I think it's us as women's basketball players. I think it's media. I think it's our brothers on the NBA. As you can see, the finals game 2 was yesterday. Gym is packed out. You got the Phoenix players there, you got Dame Lillard there, so it's just like it's coming along, but you just need more of it. We can't ask the outside world to do something when in home, like close to home, is not even doing it. So I think the work is getting done now, and as the years go on, because these kids is like 6'3" and dunking as point guard, so like the game is changing. So I think as the years go on, I think it'll get better. I just think everything need to take time, and that's really it. I think it's a responsibility of in home first, and then on the outskirt they'll start to look in, because you can't ask the outside world to support something when NBA guys, some NBA guys doing it, some WNBA players is like really promoting it. Like, you have to do it in home first.
No, it's very, very true. We're gonna jump into we're gonna bring Daniel Lopez in. Yeah, so we got Daniel Lopez with us, partners, best friends, collaborators. But before we get there, I again wanted to thank both of you guys for showing that emotion, because we live in a very superficial world, and kids think that what we see on social media, that's the real world, and it's not real. So you guys today being so real, that means a lot to me, because I know how that impacts all the kids that are going to be working on this. Think about it. There's going to be kids for the next week that are going to be editing, changing things, putting clips of you guys, of what you're doing in the community, of your moves.
Yeah. But
they're going to be hearing this and watching you guys. So I wanted to thank you guys first off for showcasing that, because we need more of that in our world. Don't settle, be great.
Yes, sir.
Right? So there's 3 parts. There's the journey. So if you could touch upon the journey, the meaning, and then the mission and goals. So the journey.
The journey was basically playing basketball, always being like a captain or a leader and wanting to motivate people and help people out. Like, that's for us, like how you see we're doing this camp. Like, after camp is the most gratifying day of my year. Like, it's like, hey, we did it again, another year. Like, and that's like the best feeling. I could get $100,000 today, and the 16th will be my happiest day. Like, because you touched 160 kids, and you might have touched parents. And then now, you don't know, they go back to their neighborhood, their school, and they might touch other people. So your touch of 160 might go to thousands. Maybe, in a different aspect, like with our brand, it might touch millions, because one person wearing it could touch so many. So it was basically just always being a leader. And then after like a workout, I just wanted my own quote. I would always say, be great during workouts. Like, be great, be great. This one I was still playing. And then I was with one of my friends, and I was just like, I need to put something with be great to make my own thing. I don't want to do what everybody else has. So saying different things, and then don't settle, be great. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And then that's when Instagram wasn't really that big yet. So Facebook, Twitter, put it out there. A lot of people started hashtagging DSBG. And then I was just like, all right, now what? And then came out with wristbands. And these are like the regular one. I had ones for like big wrists. And girls, people my wrist size were wearing it. The wristband is down here, and it's selling out. And I'm just like, then that sell out. Everybody's like, all right, I got every color wristband. I never designed clothes. I never did none of that. Like, everything, the brand basically came on demand of people. Then, yo, we need a shirt. I'm just like, all right. I designed a shirt, 200 pre-orders for out the gate, 200 pre-orders. And then it's just, all right, I got every color shirt. Now I got to do joggers. Now I got to do socks, hats. So it just took off on a demand of people. And then Erica has been obviously supporting me from day one. She didn't start off from the first day with me. And then after like just the support and then us figuring it out, we collaborated on the brand to make it even bigger, get it to more people. She's been there since day one supporting it anyway, so it just made sense. And the mission and the goal is really just to motivate millions, everybody around the world, that, like how she just talked about, you could get any door closed in your face, but if you just stop there, like what is your, like you asked her in the beginning, what's your why? Like, is your why just to, as soon as somebody tells you no, stop? Or is it, I'm not going to settle right here. I'm going to be great. I'm going to try to find different avenues. If people tell me no for 4 years, that 5th year might be the one. Like Squid Games. Have you seen the director? They deny him from 10 years. 11th year, the most watched show in Netflix history. Like, what? So it's like, imagine if he would have stopped his first, second, third year. It was a thing. They said he even sold his laptop just to get $600. So that's don't settle, be great right there. You're not selling that on any aspect. Like, you're down to your last and you're selling your laptop just to keep your dreams alive. And then now he's set forever. And it's every successful story is like that. Like, nobody just, oh, you want to play basketball? Oh, here, you're an all-star MVP. Like, it doesn't happen. You have to go through trials, tribulations, experiences, downfalls. Like, the worst lows are the lows of your life. And from that, that's where you bounce back. And that's where you learn that, all right, nobody could ever stop me now, because I done fought through everything in my life. I done fought through everything to get to this dream. So that, like how she was talking about it, like, you can't get it handed to you because you'll let it go that easy. But if you work super, super hard for it, you don't want to let it go. Like people told you, nah, you can't be that. So now for you to, even on your worst day, now you're going to be thinking, oh, but they did say that. So there's no way I could settle right now because they told me I couldn't get here, and look where I'm at right now. So that's just the mission of it, the journey of it. And when we collabed, it's just, and when I first started, it took off. And then I started doing a lot of different things, coaching and stuff. So I kind of took a little energy off of it, but now I'm going back full 100% into it. So it's a lot of things in the works. And
man, that's amazing. Really, really amazing. And one other message I think it's important to share with folks is the importance of surrounding yourself with good people. I'm successful because I got Joseph Sosa out here who tells me the truth. There are days that I wake up and I'm like, man, I want to do this. He calls me, he's like, Mayor, you got to chill out. You know, you got to, this ain't the way to go. You know, this is what we got to do. And there's times we go back and forth and we have those conversations and I don't agree with him, but it's healthy. Instead of, I could have hired somebody that worked for me and said, oh, Mayor, you're the best in the world. Oh, you look great. You know what I mean? Like, just like you said, you don't want yes folks around you. So talk to us how you guys, you know, that relationship being, you know, keeping each other's keepers, right? So I think in the message for those kids, how important is that to have folks around you that do that for you?
I think it's very, very important. Like you said, you could have had somebody that said, oh, you're the best, you're this, you're that. And I could have been easily telling her, like, oh, you're the best WNBA player. And then what I'm going to tell her when she fails, when she gets cut? Oh, you're the best. Like, that's superficial, like we just talked about. Oh, you're the best. How am I the best? I just got cut. Like, it doesn't make sense. So he could have told you you're the best mayor ever. Then in a year, you might be believing everything he says, and it's yes, 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 and you're really doing the wrong thing. And then now you're out of position. Yep. And then now he's out of position. So the main thing, like, we always stand on is always, no matter what, no matter if we don't talk for a week, 2 days, 3 days, is always be real with each other. Like, no matter what, if it hurts my feelings, if it hurts her feelings, you could respect it more. I could never respect a lie. Like, if I keep telling you lies, you're the best mayor, and you know in your head maybe like, no, I might not be doing the right thing. You could respect it if I tell you the truth. You might be mad at me, but at the end of the day, when you reach this success and you keep growing and growing, you'll be like, yeah, I could respect him because he always told me the truth. Like, she always tells me the truth about whatever I'm doing, and it's very important because that's how you grow. You don't grow comfortably. You grow uncomfortable. When you're uncomfortable, that's when you grow, especially in the goals and whatever you're trying to achieve. So I think that's very important. And part of that is, you know, like, having people that, along with being real, that will sacrifice for you and unconditionally love you, like, genuinely. There's a lot of people that want to be around position, like people in position or successful people, just to be seen around them, or, oh yeah, I'm cool, I'm in the back, like, yeah, I'm a part of this. Like, but if you don't have the genuine love, unconditional, real people that will sacrifice for you, like, it ain't gonna work.
No, the journey's so much more important when you have those folks around you. So, Erica, you wanted to chime in on any of that, on Don't Settle, Be Great, or on the importance of having great people around you?
No, that's on him.
Okay, all right.
He does the work, man. Like, I tell him, I don't know how you do it sometimes. I tell him, I'm like, you probably got more jobs than me. You got all the jobs that I have that I want you to do, and then on top of what you want to do for yourself, and then he still find balance. But as friends, as partners, we do bump heads a lot, but that's great. For me, that's I think it's good when you bump head, because then in that way it's like you're not gonna ever leave something unsaid. I ain't ever gotta worry about leaving the room and you ain't say what you need to say. And there been days where we ain't speaking for like a week because I'm mad at what he said. But on the back end, I done said on, I'm like, he might be right. But I'm stubborn, he's stubborn. We the same sign. My birthday May 2nd, his birthday May 7th. We're Tauruses. So it's like, I don't want to talk until you talk. And then it's just like, all right, we got to get stuff done. So sometimes work forces us to talk because it's just like, we got something coming up. Or product need to be done, or I need your opinion about something. So we need to put aside how you feel and how we feel towards each other and just get things done. So sometimes work just intervene when we want to be mad at each other. But more importantly, like he said, everything is about sacrifice. It's nothing that he wouldn't do for me that I wouldn't do for him. Like, I'll sacrifice it all for him, and I know he'll do the same for me. So when you got that foundation, you can never worry about anything. Like, I can give him $1 million and go away for 10 years. I'll have $1 million in that 10 years. I don't think he'll ever touch it. He probably will touch it and probably put it back, knowing him. But when I see him, I know I'll have that $1 million.
That's
for
powerful.
For sure.
That's powerful. That type of trust is so powerful, and that's what helps create that foundation of success, right? Trust is always that important foundation. Here in the town, we deal with it all the time. I knew that I had to build that foundation of trust to be successful going forward.
Nowadays it's like everything is microwavable, so nothing really lasts too long. So it's like without that type of like want to sacrifice or love or just loyalty to each other, you will never reach things that last 10 years with like disloyal people that don't really want to sacrifice for you. It'll show with time. Like if somebody is really not there for you, it might be cool for a year, but after a year, like you said, you want somebody that's real. After a year, he's gonna tire of it. Oh yeah, you're the best. Like it's gonna get tiring. You're gonna obviously see that it's not real what he's telling you, and it'll just the people will. Like, it's happened with us. Like so many people try to come around us because they see how genuine it is, how we just have fun and just live and just be real with each other. And it's just like people come, people go, people come, people go. And it's just like you see with years and years and years of what keeping it real, like really real and honest with each other gets you, rather than people that are just there for a certain reason. People have like just different like perspectives on what they want when they come around us. Like they have a mindset of what they want when they come. It's not like, oh no, I wanted this genuinely. I wanted whatever you're a part of, I want to do it. No, it's like, oh, I want to be a part of it so I can say, oh look, I did this. I did all of this for Erica and Danny, or I did all this for Erica, or I did all of this for DSBG. And it's just it'll never work like that. And the fake will show within years, and it's never gonna be microwavable.
I'm gonna use that from now. The microwavable part. I'm gonna use that from now on. It
is because everybody wants the instant success, like instant gratification. It's never gonna be like that. Like her, like she like even with the camp, I told her for 3 years, like, Erica, let's do this camp. I could have easily. I'm training her. I'm training other WNBA players. I'm training the top college players. I'm training all the top high school players. I could do a camp myself and say DSBG girls camp and just have her come on top. But that's like a part of like the sacrifice that we talked about. Like I put aside 2 years of not doing it when I could have done it and just been like, nah, this for her. Like I want her the community to see her shine, like and touch the kids in a way different way that maybe I could, but even if I could, she will not like come every year if I did it, or maybe she would, but I wanted it to be Erica Wheeler camp. I'm just saying, like I didn't want to do it. Like I sacrificed 2 years of I want to do it. Like maybe after the 4th year I might have done it myself, like for real, because I wasn't waiting too much longer, because it was just like that. Like when you're hot, you gotta do it. So it was like, all right, come on, E, come on, and I'm fiending to do it. I'm like, yo, and she like, nah, and then that's like the sacrifice. Like that you like how you said you don't really see nowadays. Like somebody would have rather been like, let me get all of this credit and nah, this is my camp and stuff like that. And I sacrificed 2 years of wanting to do that. I ain't mean to cuss, but wanting
It's all
to
good. Well, don't let it.
like of wanting to do it to be like, nah, I'm gonna put her on the top pedestal and you touch the kids and you do what nobody else is doing in the WNBA, what nobody else is doing in the league, what maybe nobody else is doing in any sport right now. Like it's the top girls camp in the world. Like it's the top.
Amazing.
Other WNBA players do it and it's 30 kids, 50 kids, 60 kids, and it's not. You don't see the kids engaged how it is when. And I don't even talk. I don't even boost our thing up just because it's ours. Like you could.
It's one of the best camps in the world, but like that's what it is.
My niece loves. I mean, my niece is one of those kids, and I'm
Yeah.
being real. Like I didn't know you guys, but I knew of you because of her and the impact you all have had on her life.
Yeah.
So
And that was another thing that I wanted it to be was the culture of girls basketball down here. So like we have football because of the Hurricanes, so many years winning. Then boys basketball started to get better because my LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and all. Well, even when Dwayne Wade came, a lot of kids started playing more. But it was just girls basketball is just all right.
yeah, we lost the Miami Soul. Remember the Miami Soul?
But even if they were here, I don't even think it would
Miami
touch.
Souls was here, I would be on the Miami Soul. I don't care. Who? Indiana who? I'm in Miami.
Yeah, so it's no.
Hey, y'all heard that? If we get a franchise, we got to get a franchise here. So
So it's like if there was no real culture and I was just like, I want to change that. Like on top of touching just kids in general, I wanted to touch the girls culture in South Florida to help that. And we have WNBA players come every year. On top of it being her camp and her being here, we bring like friends of ours and stuff, so they could see not only her, but different people in different ways that they might have got there. She got there a certain way that's super, super tough, and anybody could use her story for their life. But somebody else's story might help them also. And we try to bring other players so they could just see more and more and more. And when I was a kid, I used to think NBA players, rappers were like heroes. But then as you are around them and stuff, it's just regular people that just worked hard and made it. And that's the thing I always used to tell her, like, once they see that in the flesh, it's different. It's different from seeing you and, oh, I know you're from Miami, but you're playing on TV. I never get to see it. I never get to, oh, you're normal. You're a normal person. Like,
Very normal.
like you're normal. Like, you just work super hard and you're talented. And any kid could do that if they really work towards it and have, like you said before, and we've been talking about, the right people around you. A lot of people mess up their opportunities and dreams with the wrong crowd or just trying to be cool or just a microwavable stuff.
I'm using that, man. Believe you me. No, I appreciate that. So we got two last things for you guys. First, we kind of flip the script. The kids do this on purpose. They tell me that I got to turn it around and you guys get to ask me a question or two. So, and then we'll go back to you guys and we'll close it out. But anything you got for me?
What was your hardest battle getting to where you're at right now, and what pushed you past it?
Oh, so I'll share with you my first campaign for public office. I was an aide in the legislature. I turned in my paperwork that I said, you know what, I'm resigning. No longer going to be. I was getting paid well, working up in the Capitol in Tallahassee. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. But everybody had told me, everybody who I thought were my friends in politics, they were like, you're crazy. I'm not going to help you. You're on your own. Yeah. My wife was like, look, it's time. You're 27, 28 years old. You got to go for it, right? There hits that moment where you got to make that decision regardless of what everybody tells you. It was a bit lonely, I'm not going to lie. So I get into the race. And I'm running against a person who was in office for 12 years, was supported by the governor, was supported by the entire Republican establishment. Everybody was like, you're not going to win. There is no way you're going. But what I did, I busted my behind for about a 5 month period where I knocked on like 7,000 doors nonstop by myself every day. I lost 30 pounds. I did it was a work, but I literally knocked on 7,000 doors myself. And again, even on election day, everybody's like, "Oh, you did a great job. You know, we wish you well next time you run. You know, whatever." The results start coming in, and I'm losing. At the beginning, I lose absentee ballots, I lose early voting, but when election day started coming in, the numbers started changing. The last precinct that came in, I was still down 200 votes. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and the other side was already celebrating. The last precinct came in. What they didn't know was that I knocked on that precinct where people vote 5 times. So I visited those houses, some folks 5 times. When the results came in, I won that precinct by 500 votes and won the election. It was 51. Yeah, right. 51 to 49%. But that, by a couple hundred votes. But that changed the entire trajectory. It was tough because I went from I'll give you an example. I had great healthcare when I was in the legislature to having none, to having to figure out how I'm going to pay about $1,600 a month for healthcare for me, my wife, and my kids, and work in a different industry and construction. But at the same time, it's led to the path that we're on today, and now I get to sit down with you guys.
Right.
But if I didn't make that decision to say, hey, it's time to get uncomfortable. Well, you guys never settle, because I could have settled. I could have stayed up in Tally, had a great job, a great pension. I was like, no, there's something better out there. God gave us certain skills that we gotta showcase the world, and I did it. But the scary part, I'm not gonna lie to you, was making that decision. Like that's beyond.
That's the biggest thing is, like, with anything, is the first decision. Even to just go work out, it's just get up, just get there. Like, that's the hardest thing. Once you're there, you already know, like, I'm good. But that's the biggest thing is, and you could have even came down here and still settled and just thought, like, oh, this is all right, I'm gonna go on Instagram, market myself, do a little commercial. But you went to the homes, touched the people. Like, that's the real. Like, nobody really does that. So that's why you probably gained that, because everybody wasn't doing that, and that's what led you to be where you at right now.
Oh, the same thing when I was on the city council, and there was the election for mayor. There was the incumbent mayor, there was a founding mayor, and there was the interim mayor, all running. And I could have stayed in my seat and won unopposed. At that point, I was like, no, you know what? I gotta change the culture in the town forever. So I ran against those 3 guys. When they ran the first polls, I was in 4th place. I had about 16%, the other guy 17, and then the other 2 were in the 20s. To them was like, no, this guy's gonna lose. To me, it was like, what? I've never been mayor, and I'm right behind these guys. Yeah. I'm gonna win this election. Like, it's over. So I started knocking on doors. I ended up winning by the largest margin in town history. I got 70-something% of the vote. Plus, I raised the most money in town history. But it was that same perspective. Hey, there were folks calling me nonstop, telling me, hey, don't do it. And I was like, no, it's time.
I got a question for you. So you done did all these things in the community. You know what it's like for somebody to tell you no. You know what it's like to really work hard for what you want. Like, what's next? The next couple of years, next 2 years, next year, next 5 years. Like, what's next that you really want to focus on and make shit happen for the community?
So here in Miami Lakes, I have 3 years left. So I know that in November 2024, I can't run anymore. So there's going to be a new mayor and all that. My goal is to leave the town off in better hands than I got it, right? When I got the town, we were a $20 million organization. We had no money to fix anything. Things were going wrong. Today, we're an $80 million organization. We're fixing everything. We're doing everything. But the last thing that I have to do before I leave is fix the nicest park, the oldest park that we have in town, the Optimus Park. I want to leave a basketball. We don't have no indoor basketball courts in town. I want to leave an airnasium, a covered roof on the basketball courts and stuff like that, so we can play sports. I want to put new lights, new bathrooms, and fortunately, it's moving forward. For the first time in 20 years, there's enough people that it's an $18 million renovation, but it is finally moving forward. So my goal is, by the time that I leave, that everything that needed to be done is either done or is fully funded. So that's happening. But you're absolutely right. I am not going to settle. I am going to run for something else. I'm going to run for something bigger. What that is, I didn't want to start thinking about it now 3 years in advance, but I promise you I'll be one of the first ones, maybe 2 years out, I'm going to do it. But I can guarantee you, and I agree with you guys, don't settle, be great. That same mantra, I am going to, and even Denzel Washington always says it, right? If you fail big, you got to swing, right? If you fall forward. You know, it is what it is. Yeah. But that I guarantee you, I'm gonna swing as big as I can, coming up in 3 years. But yeah, all the plans are moving forward, and fortunately, hopefully, we can host one of the camps at the gym there or the Ernasium there, and that would be amazing. We had one of the saddest parts is that those courts at one point were the top courts in this area. James Jones, who's a general manager of the year, grew up playing basketball there. Steve Blake, I mean, you name it. A lot of the guys grew up playing, but now you can't even play there anymore. All the courts are messed up. So yeah, we have an $18 million renovation that's coming up. But I do agree with you. I will not settle, and I'm gonna swing as big as I can.
That's big for the kids also, because instead of being in the streets or just on your iPad at home, they could have a facility to go and play basketball, volleyball, whatever, football. That's big for the community.
But the sad part is, not everybody agrees with it, and that's one of the challenges of public office. I have people that there's city council members that don't agree with it as well, but there are people that come to our meetings every month and tell us not to do it, and that's where, as a human being, it's tough when you have other folks that attack you all the time. But at the same time, you got to do what's right. I'm like, whatever. If you don't vote for me ever again, it is what it is, you know. But I'm gonna do whatever I think is right for the future. But yeah, that's. So any final words that you both have for the kids? Any? I mean, you guys have done a lot of inspiring, a lot of motive, not only for the kids, but for me, and I'm sure everybody here today. But any final words that you all have for those kids at home?
Know that Erica Willis always going to put in her time in the community. I don't care how far I am. I don't care what team I'm on. I'm always coming back to the state of Florida first to do whatever I'm going to do. I don't ever think I'll ever cheat on my state, my city, or any other city. I told him anything we do first is going to start in Miami. People is dying for us to do camps in other states, and I'm like, I got to take care of home. If I don't take care of home, how do I can't ask for support or the respect if I'm not taking care of home. So for me, know that me and Danny gonna always come back and do what we need to do for our community, whatever it may be, whether it's talking, doing camps, whatever it's doing. He wants to do a women empowerment situation so bad, and I haven't wrapped my head around it because I need to hear his vision. He just keeps saying, "But we need to do something where we bring women that's gonna empower these girls." I'm like, yeah, but you not making it. It ain't. I don't see the vision yet. I'm telling you, you get somebody that talk about mental health. You talk about abortions, all this stuff. I'm telling you, he just go ramble, and I'm like, yeah. When you put it, lay it out for me, and it look like a plan, then we can do it. But he goes to rambling and.
Way into the fifth year.
See. But know that we're gonna always do our part to come back and give back to the youth. I think. For me, that's a duty for me. That's a no-brainer. I'm always come back and do what I need to do for my community.
Nah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, just to piggyback, we are always coming back here. Always, because this is the community that raised us. And to see the kids every day, every time we come back home, we're seeing these kids. So, every day we're seeing these kids. So it's just we want to be able to impact the city that we're from and show them that you could do whatever you want. You can make it. Don't let anybody, and especially I wanted to do the women empowerment with the girls because it's a lot of people in position that could tell a young girl no, and for a young girl they will just crumble. For a man, a boy, they could continue to push through that, but for girls, I forgot what the rate is. I seen it. It's girls by the age of 14, it's 80%, 75%, something around that range, quit sports. And that's mostly because of confidence. People telling you oh, no, you're not good enough, or no, you shouldn't even do that, or people bullying them so they don't have the confidence to stand up. And that's the empowerment that I want to bring to these kids, or even just seeing us in camp, that you could see her confidence when she comes in the gym. You could see these other girls' confidence, how you have to be to get to that level. You can't just be listen to what everybody says. You'll never make it nowhere, because somebody's going to tell you this one day, somebody's going to tell you this one day. So you're going to be up and down. It's going to ruin you mentally. So yeah, just we want to inspire as many kids as we can here and all over the world, and just to never give up and always chase your dreams and never let one situation veer you away from what you really wanted to do. Or one person said, like, find another avenue, find some other people to hang around with, find people to hang around with that are trying to do the same thing that you're doing, so you could have a circle of people that are goal-minded and want to push forward. And that's the main thing for us, is motivating and inspiring these kids. Like we said, I swear, if you come to the camp, and if you'll be with us after, we just feet up on the wall, my feet swollen from standing the whole day, and we're just talking like, man, this is crazy. Like, every year is a new thing, and it's like, this is the 4th year, and we're still going to be the same exact way about how this touches us and how we touch the community.
No, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate the realness, and more importantly, that entire thought process of empowering young girls, right? And showing them that it's possible, that you can fight through that, you can be great, and motivating them. And again, I always bring up my niece because that impact's real. My niece has been impacted in a positive way by what you all do. So you just know that if you've impacted my niece, the amount of people that you've already touched around this country, around our community, around the 305. And thank you all for repping the 305. So awesome, because that's what we need. We need better ambassadors, and you all are great examples of that. So on behalf of our entire community, thank you guys very much. And I could tell you, one of the goals going forward, we got to get a WNBA franchise here in Miami.
Yeah.
Now I'm like riled up. I'm riled up. I'm going to start making some calls today, see how we can make that happen. So.
Look at you, man. Didn't your man say you need to stop working?
He's going to be the GM of the franchise. That's the next thing.
We'll make it happen. But thank you guys on behalf of our entire community for being great examples and really uplifting, especially those young girls that need that type of motivation. So thank you guys very much. And there you have it. Erica Wheeler and Danny Lopez here on 305 Vox Populi. And we'll see you next week on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.